this life, but life after life. So, it's a good time for us to remember, Lord Krishna, to remember our purpose. What is the purpose of this being here? Okay, so we're gonna chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I chose for today's talk one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th chapter, which is entitled, anybody know? I'm sorry, 8th chapter, excuse me, 8th chapter. Anybody know? The prayers of Queen Kunti. Yeah. And who was Kunti? Who was Queen Kunti? You know? Yes.
The mother of the five Pandavas.
Yes. And very good. And did she have, was she related in any way on this physical level with Krishna?
Sister of Vasudeva.
Ah?
Sister of Vasudeva.
Yeah, so Queen Kunti's brother was, yeah. Vasudeva. Right. So that makes her Lord Krishna's aunt. What do you say, auntie? Right? She's aunt. So in this chapter, she recites many prayers, very beautiful prayers to Lord Krishna. And they're very instructive and uplifting. And especially I thought we could focus on two or three of them today, because by thinking about that, it helps us to remember who we are and who is God and what is our purpose in life. Okay, so I'm sure that it might be difficult for you to follow, but I'll chant the Sanskrit maybe 2 or 3 times, and then we'll read the translation and the purport, and we'll talk a little bit about it. Then we might go a little further. Okay, is that all right with you? Are you with me? See, there are many great souls here in this room, and many more outside. So I'll try not to chase you away during the first of the class. Okay. So we chanted Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the verses we'll say. Namaste Purusham Tvayam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antarbahiravastitam. Namaste Purusham Tvayam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antarbahiravastitam. One more time. Do you know, anybody know this one? Namaste Purusham Tvayam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antarbahiravastitam. Srimati Kunti said, this is also word for word, Namasye. Do you know the meaning of Namasye? Obeisances. Very good. Purusham Tvayam. Yes, the original. Adyam is original. Purusham Tvayam. You're the original person. Namaste Purusham. I'm offering my obeisances to you, the original person. Ishwaram. Yeah, Ishwaram. Prakrite Param. Prakrite Param means beyond this material world. Prakrite is this world, this material world. Prakrite Param, beyond that. Alaksham Sarva Bhutana. Alaksham means you cannot see. Sarva Bhutana. Of all living entities I can't see. Antar Bahiravastitam. Even though you're inside and outside everyone, inside and outside everything, still you cannot see. Alaksham Sarva Bhutana. This is very interesting prayer. And who is she talking about? Krishna. That's right. Srimati Kunti said, "Oh, Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of this material world. You are existing both within and without everything and everyone. Yet, you are invisible to all." We're talking about God, aren't we? This is God. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srimati Kunti Devi was quite aware that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Vishal is shaking his head, yes, he agrees. Although he was playing the part of her nephew. Such an enlightened lady could not commit a mistake by offering obeisances just to a nephew. Therefore, she addressed him as the original Purusha. Beyond the material cosmos, although all living entities are transcendental, they are neither original nor infallible. The living entities, we're talking about you and I, right? The living entities are apt to fall down under the clutches of material nature. Mother Vidyam is over there. Are you chanting japa? Okay. But the Lord is never like that. Never like what? Never like what? Vishal.
Bound to material nature.
That's right. Never under the clutches of material nature. Krishna bhuliyaji bhogavan chakare pachate mayatari japatira dhari. That's a nice verse. Krishna bhuliyaji. Forgetting Krishna, the living entity, bhogavan chakare. Why do we forget Krishna? Why? Because we want stuff for us. We're selfish. We want to be selfish. Why everything should go to Krishna? Why should I serve Krishna? Why should I take trouble to hear about Krishna and serve Krishna? Why? Better I get stuff. Bhogavan chakare. Wanting self-satisfaction, material satisfaction. Pashite mayatare japatira dhari. Then, as soon as you do that, Bhogavan, Krishna Maya comes, grabs you and says, "Come on, you're coming with me. You're mine now." But the Lord is never like that. In the Vedas, therefore, he is described as the chief of all living entities. Nityo, Nityanam, Chaitanas, Chaitananam. Then again, she addresses him as Ishwara. And what did you say Ishwara was? What did you say? Ishwara? Control. Very good. Sachi Sutta, very good. The living entities or the demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Surya are also to some extent Ishwara. But none of them is the supreme Ishwara or ultimate controller. I remember this very exchange I had with one man. He used to come to the temple and he says, "You know, I used to like to come to the temple, but one thing, it really makes me mad. You know, you people, you just worship Krishna. That's it. That's it. Usually people want to worship all the gods, right? Because they're all Ishwaras. But that person didn't know Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is addressed by Arjuna. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitam, Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Shastratam Divyam, Adidya. You are the supreme abode, you're the supreme controller. All the other demigods, even within this level of identity within this world, there are many powerful people. They're little Ishwaras. We can be Ishwara in our family, or Ishwara in our business, or Ishwara even maybe in our city or state or in the temple. But none of us are Parameshwara. Right? Krishna is Parameshwara. Or the supreme Ishwara. And also the super soul. He is both within and without. Now this is really mind-boggling, isn't it? If you're sitting here, you're not outside, right? And if you're outside, you're not here. How can you be both inside and outside at the same time? That's what Krishna is being claimed about Krishna. And what experience do you have of that? Of something that's inside and outside at the same time? Can you imagine? Anything? What is inside and outside at the same time? Anything?
Air.
Air, yeah, air. Something formless or sunlight maybe inside. But here we're talking about Purusha. Purusha means person. A person is inside and outside everything. You're situate. Stita means situate. Outside and inside both. Here it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I am situated in everyone's heart as supersoul. You know? Sarvasya chaham hridishani vishno. And from me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And by all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedas, and I am the teacher of Vedanta. So, Queen Kuti affirms that the Lord, although both within and without all living entities, is invisible. The Lord is, so to speak, a puzzle for the common person. Are we any of us common persons? Maybe. It's puzzling. Inside and outside, man. Queen Kunti experienced personally that Lord Krishna was present before her, yet he entered within the womb of Uttara to save her embryo from the attack of Ashwatthama's Brahmastra. That should occur previously in this part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Kunti herself was puzzled about whether Sri Krishna is all-pervasive or localized. In fact, he is both. You know, in India or in Vedic philosophy, there's two schools. You know this? You know this? Two schools of thought. Me. You know these? What are they? Vishal. I'm putting you on the spot a couple times now already. This is the way now, keeping people in. What are the two schools of thought?
Personal and impersonal.
Very good, yes. Or in the Sanskrit language, it's called Dvait and Advait, right? Dvait means dual, and Advait means one. So Dvait, Advait, two words. So some are really focused on the Advait, and they're called Kevala Advait. Kevala Advait means everything is one. Everything is completely one. In the ultimate sense. On the spiritual level, there's no higher level. We're all the same. Even you and Krishna. And maybe you've heard some of this philosophy in various talks. When you reach spiritual perfection, you know what happens? You become God. That's the Advait philosophy. Advait. There's no difference between you and God. That difference that we see there right now is only illusion or caused by Maya. But the Veda philosophers, they say no. The eternal, the spirit soul, and the Supreme Lord are eternally different. God is always God, and you and I can never, ever, no matter what yoga or mystic practice we do, no matter what austerities we perform, no matter how great a philosopher we may, we always remain subordinate. We always remain a servant of God. That is Dvaita philosophy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we're following the line of Lord Chaitanya, the Srila Prabhupada is the exponent of the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya, the Hare Krishna movement. He synthesized Dvaita and Advaita. You know that? And this philosophy, this is a little bit elevated. It's called Achintya Ved Avetattva. Achintya, achintya means this achintya. It means unconceivable. Ved, different. Ave, not different. Ave, that's not. So there's both duality and oneness. Oneness is in quality. As a drop of water, it has the exact same quality as the ocean. All the chemical components of that drop are the same as you'll find in the big ocean. Is there a difference between a drop of water and an ocean? Try to swim in a drop of water. You'll see there's a difference. Yeah, so qualitatively same, quantitatively much different. Yes. So as Prabhupada was quoting here, Nityo Nityana Chaitana's Chaitanana. There's one supreme eternal. We're all eternal, but we never become the supreme eternal. We're always subordinate. And because we're subordinate, our business is to serve. In fact, Lord Krishna is both all-pervasive and localized simultaneously. But he reserves the right of not being exposed to those who are not surrendered souls. Very, very interesting point. This checking curtain is called Maya energy of the Supreme Lord, and it controls the limited vision of the rebellious, and it is explained next as follows, the next verse. Okay. So, you remember any of the points of the verse? Namasye Purusham Tvadhyam Ishwaram Prakriti Param Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antarvahivasita. What's the first? Namasye Purusham Tvadhyam.
Obeisance to the original person.
Very good, very good. Purusham Tvadhyam, the original person, okay. I was once giving a class in a school, Friends. You know the Friends? Yeah, the Friends. So, they were saying, there was somebody saying, well, where does God come from? Right? Where does God come from? He thought, that was a pretty good question, right? But, that's because we don't have a clear understanding of what we mean by God. The very definition of God means what? As Kunti Devi is saying here, Purusham Tvadhyam. That's the origin. The origin. He's the origin. Everything else has come, and this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, in the Vedanta Sutra. Beginning shloka of Vedanta Sutra. Janmadhyasya yataha. What is the Supreme? That being from whom everything else is coming. That's the start. You go back and back and back and back and back and back and back, and you'll come to that person, that original person that is God. Namaste Purusham Tvadhyam. I'm offering my obeisances to that person, the original person. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also states very clearly, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. That same Krishna who will appear tomorrow in the anniversary, that same Krishna is the source of all things, both material and spiritual. This is mind-boggling, isn't it? Amazing, amazing. And Lord Brahma, the first living being in this universe, he performed austerities to figure out who he was and where he came from. Finally, after performing austerities in meditation and devotional attitude, Lord Krishna appeared to him. And you know what? He chanted these, composed these beautiful prayers called the Brahma-Samhita. And the conclusion of every verse is, anybody know? Govindam, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. Oh Govinda, I am worshiping you. You are the original person. So this is a big deal. Krishna, people have a misunderstanding or become confused about, like Prabhupada talks about, confused. The common people become confused about what is God. We're thinking, maybe there's a Hindu God, and a Christian God, and a Muslim God, etc. Isn't it? You hear this kind of talk. That just means people don't know what they're talking about, right? Because God is God. You don't think the sun. Some people go to the tropics to get a good tan because there's a tropical sun there, right? It's a tropical sun. Is it different than your sun and my sun? The same sun. The same sun. But we think it's different. Or you don't say, if you get, a bar of gold, is that gold, you call it, is this Christian gold or Muslim gold? Or, nah, it's gold is gold, right? Gold is gold. So similarly, God is God. And you may see him from different viewpoints, but because we're misinformed and we get confused, therefore we put these labels on God. But no, God is the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Kunti Devi makes it very clear in her first, this is her first prayer, Namaste Purusham Tvajam. I offer my respectful obeisances to you because you are the original person. And so people, without knowing what we're talking about, without having a clear idea, like Kunti Devi is giving, of what we're talking about when we're talking about God, we can be cheated or misguided or misinformed. Therefore, great authorities in Vedic literature give exact understanding, definitions of what is God. Another word for God is Bhagavan. You know Bhagavan. Bhaga means opulence, and Van means that person who possesses. So there are 6 opulences that we all have to a limited degree. Somebody is very rich. Aishvaryasya samadhyasya. Aishvarya. They make this, the Fortune 500. Have you ever read that? People are very interested in that. And sometimes if a person gets promoted from one year to the next, they become mad. Because they really want to be. But actually, we don't own anything. Because at the time of death, how will you take? What will you take? Nothing. Nothing. So who actually is, when you mean ownership, it means there's some control over it. Who's controlling things? That's Ishwar Bhagavan, the most wealthy person. Aishvaryasya samagrasya viryasya. What is that? Virya. What does virya mean? Strong, right? Yashasha. Fame, famous. Shriya. Beautiful. Ordinarily people talk about God as being omnipotent. Have you heard this? Omnipotent. Powerful, omnipotent. But we don't realize that one aspect of power, not having a long beard, right? But one aspect of power is beauty. Because if someone is, really, really attractive, what happens? Woo! You want to know that that's an aspect of power, isn't it? So the sages have broken it down. Yes, Aishvaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasha shriya jnana. Jnana means knowledge. Vairagyascha. Yeah, this jnana, knowledge and renunciation. That being, that person who has all of these 6 qualities in full, that's God. More than anyone else. That's God. Bhagavan. And some people claim, we're talking about this, what Krishna's appearance is tomorrow. Some people say that no one has seen God. Do you know that? Some people say you cannot see God. Or you cannot see God's face. People say that. Have you heard people say that before? And we see that's true. For some people, that's right. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samarvita. Krishna says he will not be seen by those people who are envious. Therefore, another name for Krishna is Adhokshaja. Have you heard that name? Adhokshaja. Aksha means eyes, and Ja means born from the eyes. Aha means you can't see God with your material eyes. Not possible. You cannot see God as materialized. But you can see God if He wants you to see Him. If you qualify yourself, how? By purifying your heart, by developing love for Him. Therefore, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilocharina Santasa Daiva Hridayeshu Vilocariyanti. Sages, great saints, they're always seeing God, but not with their material eyes, but with their eyes, spiritual eyes, tinged with the salve of love, and they're always seeing the Lord within their hearts. Yes, yes. So, yes, some people can see God. Yes, most of us can't see God. But when he reveals Himself to us by His mercy, then what's to stop Him? We said that God is omnipotent, right? We were just talking about that a little bit before. So if God is omnipotent, then certainly, if He wants to, who's going to stop Him from revealing Himself to you? And the way He is encouraged to reveal Himself to you is by our effort in trying to love Him and trying to serve Him. Ask not what Krishna can do for you. Ask what you can do for Krishna. That's the motto. Yes. So if He can reveal Himself, if He chooses, Atashi Krishna Namadina Bhave Graya Nindriyan Sevukhi Jivado Swayam Evuspuhatita. He cannot be approached with our materially blunt senses that are interested in getting selfish material gratification for ourselves. But He is revealed to a serious, sincere practitioner who approaches Him. How? Jivado. Jiva means, anybody know? Jiva means the tongue. Service, devotional service, pleasing God, begins with your tongue. Usually you think, well, we got to do something with your hands or your legs, and you sweat a little bit. Yes, well, that's there too. But beginning with the tongue, two things. This is as you're chanting the name, chanting that name. So Krishna not only appeared 5,000 years ago in India, but He's appearing to anyone who will chant regularly His name with a pure and devotional attitude. Krishna will appear on your tongue. And Krishna appears, even though to our material senses He's very difficult to see, but He appears also as the deity, Krishna's deity form, Sri Murti. Because all of us are sensitive and material, He is so kind that He will appear as a form almost like marble, stone, metal, wood, like that. But because His form is absolute, when we were talking about omnipotent before, omnipotent, another meaning of omnipotent means that everything that's associated with Him has His potency. So His name has His potency. His form has His potency. His pastimes, His devotees have the same potency as Him. So if we take the trouble to think about it and understand that and respect that, our spiritual life will grow. Some say also, because we were talking before about, well, if God is outside and inside, outside you and inside you, how can He be a person? Because, no persons can be in two places at once. Right?
No.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's a tough one to wrap your head around. If God is omnipresent, God is everywhere, how can He be a person? That's tough for us to understand, but that is part of His inconceivable nature. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. Anantarupam means two things. One meaning is that He has unlimited forms. He has unlimited forms. He appears in various avatars like Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, Kurma, etc. But another meaning of Anantarupam is His roop, His form, is unlimited. Anantarupa means unlimited form. Even though he's non-dual, he can be in one place and another place and another place all at the same time, which is not like us. Therefore, sometimes the Vedas say that God is impersonal. He has no ears. He has no legs. He has no eyes. What is a person who has no legs, ears, or eyes? Dumb? Lame? Yeah. But the real understanding of that, given by Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya and the Acharyas, is that really means that God's eyes and God's legs and God's arms, they're not like ours. Tad ejati, tad naijati, tad dure, tad bhatike. This is Ishopanishad. You say, God walks, but he doesn't walk. God walks, but he doesn't walk. What is this? It sounds like word jugglery, right? God walks and he doesn't walk. But so what does that mean? That means that God's walking, Krishna's walking, is not like our walking. We walk and we can make it maybe a couple of, maybe at the most 3 feet. Yeah. God walks, as Vamana did. How many steps did it take him to go from the planet to the top of the universe? 2 steps. So that walk is certainly different than you and I walk. Right? He has ears, but his ears are not like our ears that can hear maybe, a short distance away. He can hear your prayers here in the spiritual sky.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, that's right, Hare Krishna. So Tadejati, Tadajati. Now, if everybody, all religions will talk about needing to develop love of God, isn't it? Love of God. So, but love of God includes the idea there's got to be 2. Love yourself? That's a little weird, isn't it? Love means there's the lover and the beloved, the servant and the served. So some people say that devotional service and bhakti is only for people in the beginning stage, who are not very elevated in knowledge. And when you actually become elevated in knowledge, then you give up bhakti because you become one with God. This is a very common idea. But this is not, you will not find that evidence anywhere in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Dasochati Dakangshati Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Lavateva. When you reach the Brahman stage of understanding you're not your spirit soul, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna, you become very, very satisfied, very blissful. Symptom of someone who's on the spiritual platform. Nasochati Nakamchati, you're hankering or not lamenting for anything. Samasarveshu Bhuteshu, you see all living entities. Chinese, South Americans, Germans, Russians, Afghanis, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Black, white, etc. Man, woman, fat, thin, so what to speak of humans? What about animals also? Cows, cats, dogs, insects. Samasarveshu, all Bhuteshu is living entities. Now, in that stage, what happens at that stage? Mad Bhakti Lavate. At that stage, that's when you begin your real devotional service. That's when bhakti begins. Brahma Bhuta. So this is really important. We are all persons, but if God wasn't at least a person, think about it. If we're persons, if God not at least a person, that means we have greater quality than God. You follow?
No.
Yeah, you follow. Then what is the meaning? There's no meaning to God. So God must at least be a person. So then, Kunti Devi prays like this. She prays again and again, and then she says that Lord Krishna has come to this world. Some people say that God there's a separation between the spiritual world and the material world. And that spiritual world cannot, invade the material world. The Vedas say, no, why not? God can come, God can do anything. We said that he was omnipotent. And not only he can come, he does come. He comes regularly, on schedule. Why? To help remind us what our business is. We're forgetting all the time what our business is. So he comes and he reminds us, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. He says, Man mana bhavaman bhakto vadyaji mam namaskuru. You know this one? Always think of me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Hare Hare. So, anyway, he says like this, and Srimati Kunti Devi elaborates quite a bit about Lord Krishna's existence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But even the great sages, the sages, they say that you are above this material world. How can we know you? How can we, a woman, she's a woman, how can we know perfectly? So she's talking about how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then just to make sure that we haven't misunderstood it, that people don't understand, because they say, well, Kunti Devi was talking about some, Lord Vishnu in the sky, or the spiritual planets. Then she says, who am I talking about? Who am I talking about? Krishna. Krishna. We're not talking about some abstract. We're talking about Krishna, this person, standing right here before me. This Krishna. Krishna. What Krishna? There might be many people named Krishna, right? Some people have their friend or their daughter or something. But Krishna Vasudevaya. That Krishna, who is the son of Vasudeva. Right? Krishna Vasudevaya. Devaki Nandanacha, and the son of giving pleasure to Devaki. Nanda Gopa Kumara, and gave pleasure as a young boy to his foster father Nanda Gopa, Nanda Maharaj, Nanda Gopa Kumara, Govindaya. I offer obeisances to you. So that same Krishna, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's the source of everything, the source of all material and spiritual worlds, he entered into this universe, already here, but he came personally to show us his transcendental pastimes. And if we take the time and trouble to try to understand them, hear them, read them, and deeply go into their understanding, you know what happens?
What?
You become liberated from birth and death. This is something. Right? So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada really put a lot of emphasis on hearing about Krishna, chanting Krishna, reading about Krishna. And so he made this was one of the first books that he wrote, called the Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How many have this book here? Very good, about 60%. 60%. Okay, good. Some people didn't know she's sharing it. If you don't have it, we're giving it today. Please take it today. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it describes in detail everything about Lord Krishna's, everything we can know about Lord Krishna's birth, appearance, and activities, along with his associates and his devotees. And by hearing about that, you and I will become blissful, and will become elevated to the point where we can leave this material world of darkness and go to the spiritual world. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Where do they get the books?
Oh, they want a book? Do they want a book? Here, I'll give you one. Anybody? Who doesn't have one? Come on.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
There you go.
Rama.
They're outside. She has them here. Either at the
at the table?
or out in here. No problem.
At the front.
Yeah. This is Bhakti Sean.
If anyone needs one, I'll make sure you get one.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions, comments, corrections? Nanda Gir Ananda Bhayo. Nanda Gir Ananda Bhayo. Aki Gora Balaki. We'll say that tomorrow. So that means, where there's happiness in Lord Nanda Maharaj's house, Nanda Gir Ananda Bhayo. Wow, Krishna appeared, he appeared in a prison house. And this is amazing. God, as soon as he comes, immediately people want to kill him. That's the nature of this world. Because, we like to pose that we're gentlemen and ladies, but really all of us are criminals. We got a rap sheet,
Oh my God.
Well, because all of us are here. Why? Because we wanted to rebel against Krishna. So Krishna said, okay, come on, here you go, you can try. So the proof of that is as soon as Lord Krishna appeared, there were people who were out to destroy him because they didn't want to think about having to serve. But you're very special individuals though, because you're coming more on the right. We're coming on the right track. I'm realizing that a real job in the human form of life is to realize our position. We'll never become God. We can try as hard as we want. We'll go on a God project, but we never are successful. So, better thing, smart thing, complete thing is learn how to serve God. That will be very comfortable, very rewarding, very blissful. There won't be as much turbulence in our lives. But just learn how to serve God, and then you and I will become very happy in this. Something. Thank you very much for your time. Hare Krishna. Happy Janmashtami tomorrow. Please come. What time does it start? 5:30. 5:30, yeah. There'll be kirtans and Abhishekams and all kinds of things. It will be prashadam. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Shri Gaurnatai ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Shri Shri Radha Sharad Bihari ki.
Any drum player? Krishna Prishna Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Itinara. Yeah. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesh Shunyavade Paschatya Vishakari. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasani Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jai Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Shri Govinda Jaya Radhe Jai Krishna Jai Vrindavan Radhe Jai Krishna Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Maharaj Kalindi Jamuna Keshikar Shiva Rajasthana Jahan Sagolela Koila Sinanda Nanda Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Singhaya. Namaste, Narasimhaya.
Hare Krishna. Can you keep the lights, Krishna? Shiny in the back. Just lights the couple quick announcements about the upcoming festivities over the next couple of days. There we go. Thank you. But first, we want to acknowledge today's Sunday feast sponsor. We have Ashish Bhatnagar and family. Ashish with us today for his family. Yes, great. Please come forward. We have some prasad for you. Mahaprasad. Garland. Haribo. I mean, some Mahaprasad sweets for you from the Mangalarti. Is it a special occasion?
No.
Okay, so we want to offer Ashish and his family our blessings of the Lord. Let's raise our hands. Chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, tomorrow is Krishna Janmashtami, appearance day of Lord Shri Krishna. The biggest days. These are the two biggest days on the Vaishnava, our Vaishnava calendar here in ISKCON. Because we're celebrating the Supreme Lord on tomorrow, and then the very next day we celebrate the appearance day of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who without His mercy we wouldn't be able to know who Krishna was. Krishna is. So they go together very nicely. And we want everybody here to take part in this wonderful festival. Many ways you can get involved. As you see, there's a lot of activity outside. Devotees putting garlands together, putting flower decorations together. People are cutting up for the offerings that will be made tomorrow. Just to stay right here. So we want everybody to get a little taste of what it is like to serve. Come in, listen to the kirtans, listen to the classes, but also get a little opportunity to serve. Because that actually brings out the sweetness of the festival. So tonight, if you want to join in any way, you can talk to somebody out there that's involved. You can help out a little. And tomorrow, all throughout the day, there's activity going on. Whether it's setting up outside, cleaning in the temple room, helping with various decorations. We want to let you know that this is a great time to get involved. And if you can't, by any chance, if you can't do that, I understand sometimes people's schedules don't allow for that or situations. Please come in the evening. We start at 5:30, and throughout the night up until the midnight arti, we'll have kirtans, different kitas, classes, we'll have dance, we'll have drama, and then one of the highlights of this Janmashtami festival always is the Maha-Abhishek. Weather permitting, we want to do it outside because we get a large crowd at that time. We're still, in the pandemic, so we want to be able to spread out as much as we can. Large crowds, we want to be able to keep outside as much as possible. So we're going to be doing this Maha-Abhishek. We're going to have a procession bringing Radha Krishna deities outside. We'll have a nice throne for them, and there'll be flowers. There'll be the Abhishek will be offered. And this one time a year is an opportunity everybody can take part in this Abhishek. For the benefit of Shri Radha Krishna and his temple, we're offering the ability to offer Abhishek. So there's different sponsorship categories. There's the 1,000 conch shell Abhishek, which will be able to bathe Shri Radha Krishna. And then we have the 501 Mahakalash Abhishek as well. So if you're interested in doing this, you can sign up at the table outside tonight. It's best to do it tonight to reserve your spot, but all the way up until the Abhishek you can sponsor. Again, it's a special privilege to be able to bathe the Lord, especially on their appearance day. So again, tomorrow, starting at 5:30, the program officially starts. And if you want to get involved, come throughout the day. Plenty to do. The very next day, this is Tuesday, August 31st, starting at 10 a.m., we'll be having the program for Srila Prabhupada. This is Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, and it's a very special one. It's the 125th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's appearance. Hard to imagine. So we ask all the devotees to come, honor, show our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, everything that he's done for us. One thing I mentioned last week, I'll mention it again, is that we all wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Srila Prabhupada. He is the connection that connects us all together. Yes, we're all brothers and sisters with our Supreme Father, Lord Krishna, was the spiritual master that carries that message of Lord Krishna and imparts it within the hearts of each and every one of us. That gives us the opportunity to understand who is Krishna. He is facilitated, he's set up, this International Society for Krishna Consciousness, so we could all come together and learn about the values of a Krishna conscious life. So come together on Tuesday, please try to come. Starts at 10 a.m. in the morning, goes until roughly, we have a noon arti, and then after that we have a big feast. So a couple hours in the morning, you can take off of work. You know, a lot of people take off of work this day anyway. But if you can, please come. It's very, very special. Any questions about Janmashtami or Vyasa Puja before we break? If you have anything, please don't hesitate to ask me or any of the others that you see up front at your desk. Again, we hope to see you get involved as much as you can. Shri Krishna Janmashtami ki! Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja ki! Haribol! One other thing I'll just mention real quick. So tomorrow, traditionally,